Hey everyone, welcome to Buzzing About Romance, a quick shot of romance. I am Becky, and joining me for this episode is Lindsey. Hi, Lindsey.
Hi.
I feel like it's been forever since you and I sat down and did a quick shot.
Yeah, it has been like quite a while.
But I am so excited with the book that we are talking about today.
Me too. I'm so excited you read it.
Well, this was one of your top reads of 2023, correct?
It was. It was also one of the only books, if not the only book I read the day it came out.
Okay. So on this episode of A Quick Shot of Romance, we are reviewing Anger Bang by Avery Flynn. We'll link the synopsis of this book on our on-the-shelf show notes at buzzingaboutromance.com. The release date on this is June 27th of 2023. It is close proximity, friends with benefits. It takes place around a wedding, rom-com, grumpy sunshine, and our heroine, she's kind of shy.
Yeah, I would say.
Very introverted heroine.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the things that kind of makes the book is that she is stepping so far out of her character with this story, and it sets the stage for the situational comedy very well.
Absolutely. So this series is called The Downside of Dating. It's a standalone series. Put out percentage, it was actually pretty high. I forgot to write it down. I think it was like 20%.
Yeah, it's in the first quarter of the book. It's very
I wrote it here.
On.
Hold on. I have it. Anger Bang was 30%. And then the audiobook. So I did the audiobook. Did you do the audiobook?
I did.
The audiobook is read by Kristen Lee and Lance Greenfield, and they did a phenomenal job. Like, I don't know how they didn't laugh on tracks in this book.
I don't know how they didn't either, but also like it is, and Lucy Eden talked about this in book club a little bit, but like it's really hard for a narrator to get the punchlines right.
The comedic timing, yeah.
Yeah, the comedic timing is it like they did a phenomenal job of keeping that and adding to like I feel like they added so much depth to the story and like their tone of both of these characters as they're going through the audio is really good.
The audio was phenomenal. And actually, Kristen Lee was really stand out for me in this audio because, and we'll talk a little bit more about our heroine, Thea Pope, but she has a quietness about her. But she has these like rambling monologues in her voice or in her head. And sometimes when an audiobook narrator does that, there isn't an ebb and flow to the banter then because they're so stuck in the character's head that you kind of get lost in their words. But Kristen Lee did such a good job about putting emotion into those monologues that it did really great. I just thought it was a really great performance.
It really was. And Lance did a really good job as Cade. Like Cade is kind of like, I don't know, he was kind of grumpy, but also so funny. Like,
well, but I don't think he's funny on purpose.
No, he's like a sarcastic, he's got like a almost sarcastic, I don't know how to describe him exactly. Like he's got a somewhat
dry
pessimistic
wit.
view of life. Yeah,
it's dry wit
for sure. And it winds up making him really funny. Like you just want to laugh at him because it's like you are being so ridiculous.
So ridiculous. So is there a third act breakup in this book? No, because they're not really together. But it is an absolute dark moment.
Yeah.
But also the perfect dark moment for Thea because it's a train wreck and sister is a hot, stinky mess of trainness.
Yeah. Okay. So like, let's set the stage a little bit. Like, first of all, the setting of majority of the book, it's set in Harbor City. Thea's got two friends. And then, she is leaving Harbor City to go to her sister's destination wedding at a literal stinky ranch. Like the ranch smells gross.
It's called the Stinky Creek Ranch in swampy Montana or something. Like,
yeah, it's Wyoming, and it's like
or Wyoming.
But yeah, it's like Wyoming. So she's going to, her sister is a reality TV star who is getting married. Their entire wedding is filmed.
Well, she's more than just a reality TV star. The sister actually was in like one of the teen like dramas, like the OC kind of teen dramas.
Mhm.
And
Oh, and they were both child actors.
right. And she and Thea were both child actors. Thea left and became a paleontologist. Thus, the cute dinosaur cover.
Yes, girl is obsessed with dinosaurs. I will say, like, what got me on this book is one, like the concept of anger bang, like the fact that was the title. I was waiting for this book to come out for like 8 months before it came out, just because of the title. And then when she released the cover with the T-Rex, I was like, oh boy. And it came out 7 days after my birthday. So I was like, how can I not? Because like it's a tradition for me to do something dinosaur like around my birthday.
Yeah. Well, and Thea
Yeah.
has a pterodactyl tattoo that I
I
just,
love her.
she's so quirky and so funny. And you know what? Honestly, she was the perfect Avery Flynn heroine. These are the type of heroines I expect when I read an Avery Flynn book. And we've talked about this a little bit. Some of the previous books, the last 4 or 5 books that we've gotten out of Avery Flynn, you and I haven't really loved.
No. They like everything that's in this book is like classic Avery Flynn. She's tried different tropes, different genres. Just haven't loved them. Like they just haven't clicked for me. But it's Avery Flynn, and because I have like when I do love her books, I really, really love
Yeah.
them. Like some of my most memorable reads have been Avery Flynn. So like I was very willing to try Anger Bang.
Well, and actually, I had made the decision that after her witch book, that I was going to break up. Like maybe I just liked that era, the previous era of Avery Flynn and what she was now. It just wasn't for me. And you loved this book so much. You were like, just read it. And I read it, and I'm so glad I did, because this quirky, fun heroine with all these depths and self-deprecating humor, and the fact that the opening scene is basically her in therapy and her therapist telling her that there are more than just placating people so that you know, as a response, that you have other response mechanisms and that you have to start using some of the other ones to stick up for yourself. Because Thea is a childhood star with a very stage mother. Um, and but Thea doesn't want to be in this wedding, and also her sister almost didn't invite her to the wedding.
Yeah, that kind of becomes the catalyst. Like her sister. So once they're at the wedding, what kind of spirals the entire plot into motion? They're having like one of the bridesmaids gatherings, and Thea is there, and her sister kind of snaps at her and is like, yeah, I didn't even want you here. The producers wanted you here, so that's the only reason you're invited. And that's when Thea is just like, oh boy, does she unleash her inner villain. Like,
Well, she does. And then we have our hero, Mr. Cade St. James, who is the brother of the groom, also the best man. He doesn't drink, so there's always Sprite in his flask, which I thought was so great. Um,
I liked that though, because we don't get heroes that don't drink very often. And there is a trend in romance books where we see a lot of like borderline toxic drinking behavior with the male to deal with emotions. So I
yeah.
liked that we got a hero who had to actually face the circumstances he was dealing with. I
Well,
really liked that.
and he has a family history. And that plays part into this book too, with his mother and their kind of tumultuous relationship. He's been no contact with his mother for like 15 years. And the mother's at the wedding, and I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but dude is grouchy and he wants to do everything he can to ruin the wedding because he doesn't want his brother to marry the bride because he thinks she's a terrible human being. And the bride hates Cade, hates him.
Kate is also convinced that it is a fake marriage.
Right. Right. He's convinced that this is just a PR stunt and that this wedding, no real feelings are involved and nothing matters, and that basically his brother's going to get his heart broken.
Yeah. In a very public way, because I think he's also a TV star and they've starred in some movies together. And they've been working together beyond just him and Cade's brother and the bride.
Yeah.
So the two movie stars that are getting married,
So
they've been working together.
one of the best things about this wedding is because it's a reality TV wedding, there is a theme to the wedding. And the theme of this wedding is 80s.
At a ranch.
At a ranch.
80s at a ranch. Like, my brain tries to comprehend it and I can't. I just laugh.
Well, the way that
laugh.
Avery describes the fashion and some of the situations, like there's a bridal party gathering, a wedding party gathering on the opening night that's in Footloose style in the barn. And they're all expected to dance Footloose style in the barn, in their 80s gear. And then they go on a hike wearing like the 80s leotards, the shimmery leotards. And the dudes are wearing members only jackets.
Oh, and they go on like a horseback ride. Like,
Yes.
it's very funny.
It is so funny and so quirky. And these two, honestly, these two bang a lot.
They do.
They
Honestly, I can't blame them. But so the reality TV component makes it interesting because Thea, outside of this, is actually trying to get a promotion at work. So she becomes like very aware once she makes the proposal that gets aired on TV. Like, all of this gets aired on TV. So she starts, like, one of her fears is that she's going to lose her promotion at work and lose her opportunities because of who she is and what's happening in this TV show. And oh my God, her coworkers can watch it. And
she's so worried about not being taken seriously by the people at work. But she's also sneaking off into closets and having angry hate sex with the best man while the TV cameras are like outside the door.
And microphones are everywhere.
Everywhere. And they seem to wander off, and inevitably, like right as they're done doing their thing, somebody's knocking on a door or finding them. And I don't want to spoil it for anybody, but the wedding dress, the description of the wedding dress and the bridesmaids' dresses, I was dying because it was so 80s Betsy Johnson feel to it.
I loved it. I loved all of it, like the ridiculousness, the situational comedy, like the banter. Thea and Cade, they have phenomenal banter throughout. They start off being like, we're doing names only. That's it.
Right. And no
names
kissing.
Only. Yeah, names only and no kissing. And then as the week progresses, they just wind up through multiple situations, just getting to know each other. Like the fact that Cade's mom comes, like there are things that inevitably they wind up learning about each other, and then they wind up talking about it and banging it out, of course.
They did.
But basically, like throughout the week, like they start to actually grow fond of each other. Like as they learn more about each other, they have no idea where each other lives. They have no idea, like really anything about the day-to-day. Like they don't even know what each other's jobs are for a long time. Like I don't think she knows what his job is until like the very end of the week, and he only finds out because like she has like a meltdown where she like stresses about losing her promotion at work.
Yeah.
And she tells him a little bit about her stuff, and then she's like, well, you have to tell me about your stuff. Like, what are you like outside of like this caricature that I'm getting for our bang fest? But, and he's like, no, that's not how it works. I'm not telling you.
Right. It's
so funny. Like
they were so funny and so great together. The pacing of this book too was so fast. Like it was so like it's a one seating kind of audiobook. Like it just flows, and there was never a moment like, did we really need that? Everything works to its advantage. It's so well done. And one of the things I really like too is Cade is grouchy, but he has a reason for being grouchy.
Yeah.
And Thea is a little bit of sunshine and a bit of a people pleaser, and together they work because he almost is like basically stop doing that. Like he continues to push her to be better even though they're kind of in this boundless, ruleless relationship.
Yeah, and I think that works for them. Like the blatant honesty they develop from the offset just works.
Also, just so we all know, I read the epilogue. And not because I needed it, because at the end of this book, when it says the end, it was phenomenal. I knew these two were going to be together forever, but I just needed the epilogue. And boy, was I glad I read the epilogue.
Everything is so funny. Like if you need a laugh, you just need to read this book because everything is just hilarious. And then I do believe we're getting a second book. Are they doing is she doing the Friends?
That's what I think. I think so if you're in the US, Kindle Unlimited, Anger Bang is in Kindle Unlimited US. I believe the blurb for the next book is in the Kindle Unlimited book. I don't know. We've seen the cover. I don't know if the cover is out there. But it's like a Barbie in a champagne glass, right?
I think so. And it's pink.
Walk of Shame. No, so the cover has not been updated yet on Amazon yet. We've seen it because she came to book club in December. And it's Astrid's story and Walk of Shame. It is, oh my God.
Okay, so like let's talk about book club. So like book club, we did Loudmouth, and I was like, yes, love Loudmouth. That was a long time ago. Now, like, okay, if you like Loudmouth, let's talk about Anger Bang because Becky was like, want to do a quick shot of Loudmouth, and I was like, let's do a quick shot of Anger Bang.
No, you did. And I do Loudmouth because that's the Ice Knights series, the 3-book Ice Knight series that is Parental Guidance, Awkward, and then Loudmouth. And I love those 3 books. And those 3 books are in line with Anger Bang.
They are. But Anger Bang, I will say, is probably my favorite Avery Flynn.
Yeah.
For me, because
well, I like Awkward.
It's got so many of like the little, I like that one too, but there's like so many little things that just like I love, like the outdoorsiness of like where they are, the situational comedy, the fact that she's a paleontologist. Like I just I love her quirkiness too.
Yeah.
Like I just really liked the
it's really well done. So if you have a book you think we should review for a quick shot of romance, send us an email at thebees@bookcaseandcoffee.com. Lindsey, thank you so much for pushing me to read Anger Bang and coming on and talking about it with me.
Yeah, thanks for reading it with me.
Until next time, everyone, happy reading.
Find us on Instagram at buzzingaboutromance or on Twitter at buzzingromance. If you like the podcast, please leave a review. If you'd like to support us directly, join the Bookcase and Coffee Patreon and receive exclusive content only available to Patreon members. Check out bookcaseandcoffee.com for our on-the-shelf show notes.